Top 10 Romantic Movies. Looking for something to distance yourself from long summer days? Well, there's no better way to escape the heat and warm days than with the coldness of a romantic movie that will whisk you away into a world of chivalry and love. Hey guys, welcome to your entertainment channel Netflix Tops, where we will tell you about the top-rated movies and series on Netflix. So grab your popcorn and stay with us until the end of the video, because today's video is going to list down the top 10 romantic movies to watch on Netflix. So let's get started. Number 10. The British set romantic comedy About Time, starring Domhnall Gleeson and Rachel McAdams, is Richard Curtis's third film behind the camera, and it presents an amplified version of the triumphs and shortcomings most characteristic of his work. On his 21st birthday, Tim, Gleeson, discovers from his father, Bill Nighy, that the men in his family have the ability to travel back in time. Naturally, Tim's first instinct is to use this newfound power to try to snag a girlfriend. However, after a summer of futility, wooing the visiting friend of his older sister Kit Kat, Linda Wilson, a still single Tim heads off to London to pursue a career as a lawyer. There, Tim meets Mary, McAdams, and falls head over heels in love. Mostly though, Tim and Mary's love is sincere, born of shared interest and mutual regard. As is, About Time feels like a partially improvised fairy tale. Number 9. For a guy who trades in intimate, small-scale narratives, Adam Leon sure does love working with distance in tramps. Wide shots pepper this film. His camera, an eye in the heavens, tracking the movement of his protagonist through busy open spaces. You don't pull off that kind of stunt without caring. And so we get down to what makes Leon special as a storyteller. He's caring, he's compassionate, but the Netflix-backed Tramps is all about the tug between kindness and unkindness. Leon doesn't pile ignominies on his characters more than he must because the world he constructs around them does that well enough on its own. Tramps is a minor effect loaded with small pleasures, but tallied together, those small pleasures add up to one great movie. Number 8. Netflix has gifted us with two Gugu Mbatha Raw movies in the same month. Irreplaceable You is aggressively mushy and cutesy as hell, but Mbatha Raw is an effortless charmer. And director Stephanie Lang is clearly a wizard because she found a way to scrub Michael Huseman of his typical stubbly hipster douchiness. He and Mbatha Raw match up well as Sam and Abby, childhood sweethearts, newly engaged, and also staring down her terminal cancer diagnosis. In medical terms, she's a goner, so she does what any type A person would do in her position and interviews candidates for her replacement after she dies. She loves Sam so much she can't stand the idea of him being alone. Watching Irreplaceable You is the equivalent of downing a heart-shaped box of chocolates. You might go into a sugar shock, and you'll need to brush your teeth whenever it's over, but you won't regret the indulgence all the same. Number 7. In the oddly raunchy and thoroughly satisfying septuagenarian lesbian road film Cloudburst, Oscar winners Olympia Dukakis and Brenda Frinker star as Stella and Dot, a lesbian couple who have spent the last 30 years living the classically sophisticated good life on the rugged coast of Maine. After Dot gets put into a nursing home by her uptight granddaughter, her lover breaks her out and instead takes her on a road trip. Nature itself becomes a key character in the film. The titular cloudburst, which drenches Stella and Dot in a moment of deep love and devotion to one another, serves as a simultaneous protagonist and antagonist, celebrating and troubling the lovers at the same time. Number 6. Jessica Williams plays Jessica James, a 20-something theater fanatic who's trying to get one of her plays produced while simultaneously dealing with a breakup. The ex, Damon, in this film, the incredible Jessica James, is played by the equally wonderful Lakeith Stanfield, Atlanta's short-term 12, who can't imagine to stay out of Jessica's dreams. When she meets a new fling, played by the comically refreshing Chris O'Dowd, she begins to reevaluate her love life while clinging to her life goals. When do you know you've made it? As lighthearted as the film can be, it's rooted in an exploration of the deeper questions that any artist, or person for that matter, grapples with. Number 5. Joseph Gordon-Levitt makes an assured debut as a writer-director with Don John, a cultural critique of the expectations placed on relationships in an environment saturated with media misrepresentation of both women and men. It's a comedy ostensibly about porn, but that's really just the skin Gordon-Levitt puts on his examination of modern love. The hook that belays his trenchant commentary on how we objectify instead of connect with the opposite sex. Gordon-Levitt is irresistible in the role, adopting the situation's swagger on screen, donning it like a uniform before he joins his boys at the club. Number 4. Bollywood loves forbidden unions, be it religious, cultural, class, or otherwise. An epic period drama based on a regal and controversial Hindu-Muslim union. Akbar, Hrithik Roshan, a Mughal king, is betrothed to Jodha, Aishwarya Rai, a Rajput princess, as an alliance between the two regions. But as their marriage becomes real, so does their love, despite external forces trying to break them apart. Jodha Akbar excels in its opulent visuals, rich costume design, and original soundtrack, borrowing its sound from Jawali spiritual style. It's a portrait of a loving relationship in a trying, war-stricken time, and paints a picture of 16th century India that can scratch any historical itch. Number 3. Decades after its theatrical debut, James Cameron's blockbuster epic is still so ubiquitous in the pop culture zeitgeist. Its filmmaking marvels are drowned out by young Kate and Leo's nostalgia, and that damn Celine Dion caterwaul, not to mention the now late James Horner's iconic score. Cameron's ear for dialogue may be woefully leading in Titanic, but he's a shrewd storyteller, plucking a Romeo and Juliet redux aboard a doomed ocean liner and flanking the fictional romance with historical details, groundbreaking special effects, and jaw-dropping visuals. The narrative lapses are at times dumbfounding, let's face it. Old Rose, who tosses a priceless artifact into the abyss after waxing ad nauseams about herself, is a thoughtless jerk, and the aforementioned dialogue is awful, to say nothing of Billy Zane doing his best mustache-twirling silent movie villain. But Titanic remains a painstaking testament to the all-in Hollywood spectacle. Number 2. Sarah Paulson is one of the most vital actors working today, and at this particular moment, she's damn close to ubiquitous. Here, she shows up as one of two leads in newcomer Alex Lehman's lovely romantic comedy Blue Jay, a compact and unassuming film about big, life-changing things that's presented in a beautiful monochrome package. Think of it as a plate cleanser for Paulson after a year spent maneuvering production of grandeur, scope, and ambition. But scale and quality exist in two separate zip codes, and what Blue Jay lacks in import, it makes up for with effervescence and melancholy. As though to put Paulson's luminous talents to the test, Lehman has cast her alongside Mark Duplass, a man primarily known for making tons of lo-fi mutter fests, and whose range allows him comfortably to play himself. Paulson and Duplass make such a great pair that the film's relative nothingness is pleasurable rather than painful. Blue Jay only clocks in at about an hour and 20 minutes, less counting on the credit scroll, so it should breeze along by its very nature, but it feels like it only runs about half as long as that. Number 1. A film written by and starring Ali Wong and Randall Park was always guaranteed to be a home run, but the endlessly funny and charming Always Be My Maybe truly exceeds all rom-com expectations. The duo, who penned the script with Michael Galamko, play childhood friends who lose touch after an impulsive teenage romance ends badly. From there, Wong's Sasha becomes a celebrity chef as Park's Marcus continues to live at home and work for his father's blue-collar business after his mother's tragic passing. They each have things to learn from one another, sure, but Always Be My Maybe doesn't just end when romance blossoms. It leans into the complications of two adults with independent lives, choosing to be together, and figuring out how to make it all work. Part of that, crucially, includes both Marcus and Sasha playing supportive roles in one another's careers, rather than compromising and giving up their passions to be together. And this brings us to the end of the video. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel for amazing movie reviews coming your way. And thank you for watching.